Today on Dream Homes, we're flashing back to our favorite rooms from this season.
And we're taking you behind the scenes. Welcome to this special episode of Dream Homes. We're taking a look back at the best spaces we've toured throughout Western Canada in Season 3.
We saw so many amazing homes this season. We were in Whistler, in Maple Ridge, and right here in West Vancouver.
And speaking of which, this home that we're at today is an $8 million house in the British properties with spectacular views, an incredible outdoor space, complete with a private poolside terrace.
Now we're going to start our recap in Anmore. This custom-built home is almost as beautiful as the family who lives there. It's also got a great, elegant kitchen that looks like it should grace the cover of a magazine. Rebecca, we have to start the tour of this home with your beautiful kitchen. As soon as I walked in the front door, I headed right over here, and I'm not a cook, so that's saying a lot. You've done a gorgeous job with it, and you must have some kind of interior design degree.
No, actually I don't. I literally get all of my inspiration from Pinterest, magazines, and I even steal ideas from other people's homes.
I think you're probably a bit of a natural, too.
Maybe.
Yeah. We have to talk about the appliances in this kitchen.
Yes.
You can do some real cooking in here.
Except I'm not a real cook.
Really?
I fake it really well sometimes, but yeah, no, I'm not a real cook.
Bianca, you and Rebecca have two things in common. Neither of you can cook, and you both look good on TV.
What do you have in here? I see 2 ovens.
Yeah, we have 2 ovens, which is actually great when we have a lot of people over.
And 6-burner stove.
Yeah, which I use probably 1, but it's there and it looks pretty.
It really does. And your husband's Italian, so you must have a ton of people over cooking in those big pots, making some nice pasta.
That's actually why we did the pot filler.
Speaking of a big Italian family, when they come over, they must gather around your enormous island.
They do. We actually have 4 seats and another 2, and then we pull up all the chairs around. Everyone always gathers in the kitchen.
We've got that nice, beautiful island, and it's got something new that I learned today, corbels on it.
Yes.
Now, what's that?
Yeah, these are all like the scrolly type things that are on our island. They're also above the stove. So yeah, and they just add some detail and a little bit of architecture.
There is so much attention to detail, especially in your dining room. Tell me about that wallpaper.
The wallpaper was a labor of love. I probably brought home 500 pieces and held it up on the wall and finally settled with that one. So I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out.
And when you're sitting at that dining room table and you look up, it's a coffered ceiling.
It's a coffered ceiling.
Nice touch.
Yeah, that was my husband's idea.
Now, everything does look beautiful in this kitchen. Looks like, you've spent some money on things, but what we want to talk about is the fact that you don't always have to throw money at everything to make a space look elegant. And there's a nice little story behind that dining room table.
Yeah, the dining room table, we actually couldn't find one that we loved. So I went and hunted around clearance areas and found one table that was kind of an ugly orange color, to be totally honest. And we had the idea to just go refinish it.
That's pretty amazing. And you know what? That gives me hope that maybe I can do that with a table in the future. Maybe make my house look a little bit better.
For sure, just give me a call anytime.
I'll take you up on that.
The Drew family was so welcoming and inviting. Bianca, did you ever take her up on that offer?
Peter, I haven't yet, but Rebecca, if the offer still stands, you'll be hearing from me.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
This next home that we toured is located on the water in Deep Cove, and we were lucky enough to meet the award-winning architect, Brian Hemingway.
This house is the epitome of luxury West Coast living, from the deep water moorage to the custom millwork.
And our favorite room in this house was the great room because, well, it was truly great.
Brian, we are starting our tour in the great room, and I have to say the first thing that I notice is the beautiful wood in here. What kind of wood is this?
It's all Douglas fir. It's local Douglas fir here on the West Coast.
And I noticed that there's very few imperfections in a lot of the wood. What's the reason behind that?
You're not looking at solid timber. You're looking at a veneer, a 1-inch thick fir on top of glue lambs, which some would say is artificial, but that way we're able to put pristine wood as the finish, and the wood will always stay this way.
It certainly is very consistent, very elaborate. And I have to ask you too, what is the kind of floor that we're standing on?
All the flooring in the whole house, in fact even the walls, is all Pennsylvania bluestone, all finished a little bit differently. The floor finished in one way, the fireplace another, the mantle another. It's all consistently the same material.
I think what's really interesting about this place is the fact that a lot of the work with the veneer cabinets, with the wood, was done on site. Is that right?
Yes, and that's not normal. The client in this instance was very particular, and he wanted to have control over the quality of everything. And so he actually hired a carpenter, bought the tools, they built all the windows, all of the cabinet work, everything in the house.
Having carpenters right there on site makes a lot of sense, because if something doesn't work, you don't have to send it back. You can fix it right there. That's efficiency. And what I love about the design here is we don't have a lot of walls, so the kitchen kind of goes with the whole rest of the space.
Absolutely. The whole idea of these houses is that consistency with the environment and from one room to another. It's not a collection of rooms.
The stone you see in the ground may be used more often outside, but because the outdoor and indoors all connect, it makes sense to have it that way as well.
That's right, and in fact, even the thresholds, the sills of the doors, in most homes, they'd be wood. They're bluestone here, partly because of that consistent transition from indoors to outdoors, but also importantly because they will never get damaged.
You obviously are a very busy man over the years in building and designing, and there's a process you go through though. You don't just take on any clients. Tell us about that process.
So I've been practicing in the Vancouver area for many, many years. People found me, they liked what I did, they wanted one of my homes, and I would always start off by living with my clients for at least a couple of weeks.
Saves on rent for you too.
That too. I work out of my garage, there's not a lot of rent there, but I spent a lot of time with them and we get to know one another. Some writer once in a magazine had a title above a paragraph saying that here's an architect who actually sleeps with his clients.
Now, as you can clearly tell, Brian is extremely talented at what he does, and he was a ton of fun to work with.
That's right. Now, something you might not know about the show is between takes, when our shooters are getting all those beauty shots, Peter and I get the chance to get to know the people we tour with.
Yeah, for instance, we found out that when Brian was a teenager, he actually worked as a model for huge brands like Coca-Cola.
Now, next up, Peter got to check out one of the coolest master bedrooms we've ever seen.
And not only that, but if you live in this house, you can be sure that nobody else has anything in the world like it. Wow, this is the most spectacular bedroom I think we've ever seen on Dream Homes. This is so unique, and this view is absolutely amazing. Now, much like the rest of the house, you've done a lot of the work yourself in this room, is that right?
I have. That's part of the joy of doing this project, was doing a lot of it myself. So I did all the metal work and the sculptures.
So a lot of the stuff that you see around here, you got from a rail yard, is that right?
Yes, I got to pick through it, and there's old train lights, and the handles for the doors are railway ties. Everything got used. It's nothing went to waste.
Now let's talk a little bit about your bathroom, because it's kind of spread all over the master bedroom. You've got a shoe closet where you have a toilet and a sink in there, and your tub and your shower. That is just incredible.
The tub was an old reclaimed tub, and it's got hot water coils around it, so it's always nice and warm.
Wow.
So you get into it and it just keeps the water really, really hot.
And it's in the ground, so, you know, if you've had a couple glasses of wine, you want to have a quick little soak there, you can just fall right into it, which could be really nice, especially when it's that warm. Tell me about that chandelier that we see behind us. You can actually put that up and down, and you made that as well?
I did. That was the first thing I ever made. I realized once it got up there I wouldn't be able to light the candles, so I had to figure out how I could lower it down and light the candles and then lift it up. It has all these old railway pulls and different things to make it so that it moves.
The first thing I ever made, I think, was a bird feeder in high school. And it did not look anything like that chandelier. So for your first project, that's extremely impressive, and a great feature, the way it goes up and down. Obviously the view is spectacular, just like the rest of the house. Doesn't matter where you go, as long as you're looking at the water, it's great. But I did notice that you don't have a TV in here, or do you?
The TV's behind a sculpture. I just hated looking at it, so I did this sculpture that slides down and covers the TV and then lifts up when I want to use the TV, or it's a computer too.
So let me get this straight. There's a TV back there that also acts as a computer, and the whole thing is hidden by a handmade sculpture created by the homeowner? I'm impressed.
A day like today, you can open up the door, you get all the fresh air inside, but you can light the fire and still stay warm as well.
The heating is in the floor, so you don't want to have the doors open all the time when you've got the heat on, but in the summer I pretty much leave the doors open and live with the doors open. It's like a sleepover out in the wilderness. It's pretty perfect.
Stay with us after the break. We're showing you some of the best outdoor spaces we've ever seen.
And Bianca tries to perfect her short game.
Welcome back to Dream Homes. This is our best of episode, where we look back at some of the highlights of our third season.
And up next, we're in West Vancouver, checking out the ultimate backyard space. From the views to the infinity pool, it doesn't get much better than this.
This Vegas-inspired villa is worth just under $12 million, and it's our pick for the best outdoor space.
And my tip for this place, if you want to live here, is the putting green is not for chipping or driving, just putting.
Now, Jamie, you said your favorite space in the house is downstairs. Lots you can do down there. But how does it compete with the outdoor area? I love it out here.
You know what? It's tough to pick a spot in this house. This area is spectacular out here. The view is unbelievable, and the infinity edge pool really tops it off.
With that pool, you can kind of look out. You don't see your neighbors. It's a lot of green space. There's Stanley Park, downtown Vancouver.
Exactly. You come up the driveway, you just see the waterfall cascading down. It's unbelievable.
I love all the water features, actually, in this house.
It's very true.
Another water feature I love is the hot tub.
The hot tub's definitely a great place to entertain.
There's really no shortage of ways to keep yourself entertained out here. There's also a really nice barbecue for some outdoor parties.
You're not talking about the fire pit, are you? Because there is actually a barbecue at the back.
There's a barbecue and a fire pit.
Yeah,
So I could probably barbecue on either?
You could.
Okay.
One's a bit more rustic.
I don't think you know how much cooking I do, which is none. So don't tell me you'll roast a marshmallow on there, I might. Now, Peter mentioned it earlier. There's a putting green also as part of this backyard space.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually just off the lower level up here. So up here's the pool area, down there's the putting area.
And Peter checked with you, it's just putting.
If you want people to like you.
Okay, if you want to be friends with your neighbors.
Exactly.
To admit, I did check that out earlier. I hate to brag, but putting's kind of my thing.
Bianca, you know this show is not live. We do a lot of editing. Can we roll tape?
Just joking. We can look around and sort of get a sense for this space, or we could enjoy it ourselves. I think we've worked hard today. Should we go take a seat?
I'd love to.
Okay.
Wow, I don't think I could ever get sick of that view.
Peter, that house was incredible. Right down to the fountain in the front yard that was modeled after the Bellagio in Las Vegas.
Speaking of Vegas, our next home has a private poker room where I found out the hard way that I'm not much of a gambler.
It's true. Now, next up, it's a 10,000 square foot home with our favorite entertainment area.
Now, a lot of people can say they have a man cave or an entertainment area, but this house has an entire floor dedicated to entertaining.
We call this the entertainment level. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here, but really this is where the people can hang out, party, whatever. We've got the pool table behind us, a custom designed lounge bench seat here. Really the feeling is like a hotel, a hip boutique hotel type of feel.
It feels like that. It feels like you're in a high-end kind of lounge, hanging out. Maybe someone could serve us a drink here, you know, maybe wherever Bianca is, I'm sure she could bring one over to us.
Not a chance.
You have an elevator coming down here as well, which is great if people have too much to drink or if you maybe can't access the stairs.
Yeah, it goes all the way to the third floor, coming straight down from it, and then you actually enter right into the poker room.
Yeah, there is a poker room. You can play some games, and again, it has that lounge feel with the windows, which means you can keep some of the noise in and out as well.
Yeah, we use storefront commercial windows. It's got that very commercial look. Visually, it's still open, but it contains the noise. Poker, MJ happens in there.
So, you know, if you're losing and you want to get upset and yell at people, no one's going to hear upstairs when you're screaming about losing all the money.
They won't know you're a sore loser.
I don't want to brag, but I'm a little bit of a poker player myself.
You are?
Yeah, I'm not that great though, unfortunately. We mentioned that it would be great to have some drinks served. We have the poker, we have the lounge area. There has to be a bar here as well.
There is. There's what I call a glowing onyx bar. It's an underlit bar, triangular, angle-shaped, very funky design, but that's where all the drinking happens. It's inside the theater room.
When you walk in, there's actually a large liqueur collection as well.
Right at the entry, there's a mini liqueur collection, and then inside the bar, there's actually what we call a wine wall.
That liqueur collection reminds me of the perfume collection in the master suite. Obviously, you don't want to drink the perfume, but, you know, the liqueur, a little bit better to drink.
You don't want to put the liqueur on you either, so.
Depending on who you're trying to attract, you might want to, I'm not sure. But the karaoke room doubles as a theater as well, right?
We actually designed it so it's concrete on all sides, including the ceiling, so it's almost like a sound bunker.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can crank it up.
Crank it up. I hear there's over 50,000 songs, but let's keep that between us because we don't want to hear Bianca sing.
After the break, we go behind the scenes of a Dream Homes episode.
And no show is complete without a look at some bloopers.
3, 2. Welcome back to Dream Homes. Today we're reminiscing about the stunning spaces we saw while touring 18 homes this season.
It's been a real treat to shoot here as well. We're at an $8 million home in West Vancouver. And now you've been watching us, but there's actually a lot more that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, kind of like what we're seeing right now. Let me just show you here.
Hi, crew. So we thought we'd take this opportunity to show you what goes on behind the scenes of a Dream Home shoot.
But we're not showing everything, are we?
Oh, no.
Good.
Something people might not know about the show is there are only 5 or 6 of us who work on it.
Bianca and I get to be the face of Dream Homes, but of course there are 3 other people who are doing the majority of the hard work behind the scenes.
I'm just gonna grab one quick shot slider of this guy. My name is Kendra. I'm a senior editor and videographer for the show. And what that means is I get to kind of do a little bit of everything. I get to direct, shoot, edit, and then later I package the whole show as well.
I'm Milan, the shooter editor. I've gained so much respect for Peter and Bianca today. When it comes to being in front of camera, I'm not a fan. I definitely like hiding behind the camera better.
I'm Melanie, and I'm a producer for Dream Homes. I make sure that we have homes to shoot in. I create a one-pager so that Peter and Bianca have information about the home. You sort of have to fly by the seat of your pants.
Can you kind of sneak in, B, so I can just see where you're gonna land? So shoot for Dream Homes equals a whole bunch of stuff. We come in with 2 cameras, a whole bunch of equipment, lights.
It is a little bit invasive having cameras everywhere, but people are so welcoming, and that's one of the things I love the most.
Yes, we're rolling whenever you guys are ready.
We do the whole show in the course of 2 days, so that's 1 house per day.
I'm thinking favorite room?
Peter and Bianca are fantastic on camera, but what you probably don't know is I create a really big cheat sheet.
We basically have a bullet point sheet underneath the camera that says certain points we have to hit on, but we still have to make these sentences out of our brains that are coming out right now while I'm talking.
Step up close to the camera into the light, so come on up. So one thing about directing that I didn't really realize I was doing was being really bossy. And I think that goes hand in hand with directing, is you kind of have to just say like, you go here, you do this.
Maybe sometimes she can be, but we need that, because if there was someone not being bossy, I would probably be in the hot tub or the pool most of the day.
Speaking of great looking closets,
I mainly work with my co-editor and shooter Milan, and he's awesome.
I literally think that we share a brain.
Moving around in the space and kind of like, you know, you have a giant jib or you have a slider, you have to kind of do this little puzzle where you work around each other.
And it works really well because we edit the show as well, so when we get back and do that portion of it, we know that everything we need is going to be covered.
Milan is a ton of fun to work with, and he has a lot of crazy ideas, which don't always fit into the show.
Like you're doing like Survivor Man, so you have like your, because all you'd see is the water. It's like, they dropped me off here on the coast. I don't know what I'm gonna eat. Maybe these barnacles. There was a joke once where Peter was starring in a Dracula Dead and Loving It remake that went straight to VHS. I liked it. When I saw the final show, wasn't in there.
Shoot the master and then move them down.
Producer Melanie was crucial when it came to on-location shoots. So much of the episodes were shot in the summer when it was super hot out, but Melanie was always there over my shoulder. I'd hear her voice, drink this, eat this, and she was kind of like our on-set mom.
I like to make sure everyone's fed. I pack snacks. I think as a producer, that's your main job. You have to make sure camera operators don't pass out because they're hungry. You gotta make sure your hosts look good. You gotta make sure that Peter behaves.
Just need a few minutes here.
Can we not?
that marble.
The hand model in Dream Homes. You know, sometimes that hand comes in the shot and you're like, whoa, who is this? So it was our PA, Tyler.
He started producing, doing some booking, and he was fantastic.
My favorite memory of Tyler was by far when we did the Vancouver Canadians baseball game. He basically passes Peter and Bianca a 2-foot-long hot dog. That hot dog was so beaten up by the end of that shoot. I think we probably did about 10 takes. The hot dog was snapped in half. I think Peter had taken a bite out of it, but somehow Tyler positioned it right where it looked like a pristine hot dog.
Over to you, the official hot dog holder.
No, just a casual 13 mil. You know, in case you have that lying around. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, in front of the homeowners, we're very calm, we're very professional, and then to ourselves, we say, oh my goodness, like, can you believe this closet? Can you believe this kitchen?
I mean, it's not exactly a bad job when you're in some $20 million house, or you're riding a gondola, you're hanging out on a yacht, drinking champagne.
Bianca, I love this house. It's so close to downtown.
My favorite part about working on the show, hands down, is the Dream Homes team. They are so talented, from our shooter editors who work tirelessly to get all those great shots, to the beautiful edits, and our producer Mel, who makes sure we have absolutely everything.
When we leave a shoot after a long day of shooting, you feel fulfilled, I think, because the product that you come out with is spectacular and so polished, and just, it's a really great testament to the crew that we have, but it's also a really great example of how beautiful our city is.
Our season wouldn't have been anything without the incredible homeowners, realtors, and everybody who toured us through those beautiful homes.
From all of us here at Dream Homes, thank you so much for watching.
I would say one of make
sure that Peter behaves. That's it.
Let's go to the washroom.
Yeah, see?
3, 2.
I think a bug went in my mouth.
What do I enjoy the most about working on the show? I can't say booze, can I?
Oh. Don't move.
Getting the weird itchies on my face. Oh my God, okay.
Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. It's been a lot of fun this season.